All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Hump Day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. So it is official. Matter of fact, I got a call yesterday, not long after we did Morning Scone, that Matt House was going to be introduced or announced yesterday. So Matt House has officially now been named LSU's defensive coordinator. Report about 10 days ago from Football Scoop had the name first, so kudos to those guys. They do great work over there. Few are as plugged in to the coaching coaching circles as Football Scoop. They really do a great job. So they had Matt House about 9 days ago is when they first reported it. And I gave you my feelings on it then, whenever it was initially announced and looked like it was going to happen. Very, very highly respected coach. You saw Tyrann Mathieu's tweet right after the news came, lauding Matt House, who's been there in Kansas City as a linebackers coach for the past 3 years. Here was Tyrann's tweet. I'm excited for Coach House and all of Tiger Nation. This man loves football and teaching. One of the best I've been around. This Tiger defense will be well coached from day one. Let's all buy in. Forever LSU. So, man, you get that cosign from Tyrann Mathieu. That's a big deal. It was really interesting because Brian Kelly first went after Brad White, who's the current defensive coordinator of Kentucky, and then he went after Matt House, who is the former defensive coordinator from Kentucky. So very clearly there's something over there at UK that Brian Kelly likes an awful lot about what they've done and the way they've built it. So, House has, he's got plenty of experience in college, being the Kentucky defensive coordinator. He was the DC at Pitt. He was in Miami. Maybe most known for his time in Pitt for coaching Aaron Donald. Earlier in his career, he coached at the University of Buffalo, so kind of worked his way up. He jumped in as a GA at Michigan State, then went to North Carolina, and then Gardner-Webb and Buffalo, as we mentioned, and had a brief stop in the NFL with the Panthers and back into college for that run we just talked about up to Kentucky, and then most recently here for 3 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. So you got your guy in place. I'll reiterate now what I said at the time, which is, man, if you're Brian Kelly or if you're an LSU fan, Brian Kelly earns the benefit of the doubt, right? Brian Kelly has he's just been around a long time, 4 different stops, as a head coach over 30 some odd years, and he's hired great coaches and deserves the benefit of the doubt. So it's the opposite of what LSU just experienced, where you had a head coach who wasn't great at hiring assistants, and his track record was not very good at that. So, for the same reason that we all just sort of blindly trusted Scott Woodward throughout the hiring process and came up successful. I think it's similar with Brian Kelly here hiring assistants, because he's just got such a proven track record of doing it. So it means Durante Jones won't be retained. My understanding, and Durante's known that for several weeks, by the way. My understanding is Durante is actively entertaining NFL jobs, so it looks like he'll be back in the NFL after this year. And then the only other thing would be to name an OC, and Mike Denbrock still appears to be the guy there. And Cincinnati, of course, is going to lose to Alabama on Friday, so stands to reason that you could name Mike Denbrock as early as this weekend or early next week. Okay, let's say some good mornings. I do have to get out of the house. We have some Hudco business to attend to this morning. That's why I'm in full shirt, hat on. So I got to get out of the house here at about 8. So I got about 15 minutes. So I'm going to go blow and go, try to get to as much as of your questions, comments as we can. Tommy Vienendahl, Bill Schmid, Kelly Presley, Charlie Cavell, Mike Lee, Josh Bergeron, Jimmy Babin, Blake Middleton. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Mark, good morning. Shelby, Garrett Temple went off last night. Him and Herb Jones carried the Pels. By the way, if you haven't noticed, the Pels have kind of gone on a little bit of a run here. If I'm not mistaken, that's 5 of 6 now that they've won. They beat Cleveland last night. By the way, that was the first game for our Courtside for Charity giveaway. $20 chance enters you to win courtside seats for a Pels game. The next game up is the Golden State game, by the way. So if you're interested, get to 1045ESPN.com. You'll see the Courtside for Charity link right there at the homepage. $20 a chance, and you could be sitting courtside. Again, the next game is, I want to get the exact date so I don't screw it up. It's against Golden State, so you can be floor seats for Steph Curry. January 6th, so a week from tomorrow. So buy your tickets now, courtside for Steph Curry next Thursday. Buy your tickets, 1045ESPN.com. Let's see. Isaac Landry, Joe Brady going to drop your budget rental lofty? I don't know. Joe Brady's got enough money from being fired from his last 2 jobs to lead to. Well, I guess he wasn't fired from LSU. Don't. He's got enough. Let me put it. He's got enough money from his last 2 jobs to be just fine. Jason Horn, good morning. Bob Poole, Jeff McKithen, Lowell Cormier. Of course, I put in the headline there about Matt House. The other gigantic story today is LSU opens up conference playing basketball tonight at Auburn. Huge opportunity for Will Wade and the crew to boot up on the road. Really tough place to play. LSU's ranked 16th. Auburn's ranked 11th. The line on this game is Auburn 4. So, understandably so. I mean, tough road venue. We talked about that a bunch. I hope Tari Eason's healthy and ready to roll. But let's see if LSU can get off to a good start. Y'all know my feelings on this. Through the first 7 games, you have 4 of them on the road. Split those 4 road games. You know, at Auburn, at Tennessee, at Bama, at Florida. Not in that order, by the way. But anyway, split those 4 road games. Go 2-2 in those 4 road games. Win your home games. Come through that 5-2. And then you should steamroll to the league championship, in my opinion. But you got to take care of business. So in these first 7, Brandon Atchison, Ray Slocum, what's up? Ryan Dixon. Have to trust Kelly. He's not a splash higher. Looks similar to DJ. DJ, you talking about Durante Jones? Remember, Ryan, Durante Jones had not been a defensive coordinator since 2009 at the Division II level. That's just unfair. I mean, this guy was an SEC defensive coordinator 3 years ago and had been that. And now his NFL experience as well. That's not a fair comp at all. Again, Durante had not been a defensive coordinator in more than a decade. The game has changed, and that was at the Division II level. That's not even comparable. Brian Broom, good morning. Charlie Gale, hey Dad, good morning. Jason Jones, Todd Harris, Matt Cheney, Caleb Brignac, good morning. Ron Ritchie, good morning from Northwest Mississippi. Happy New Year. Sean Comiskey, good morning, Matt. Speaking of HUDCO, my parents appreciated the way they handled the insurance company for them, made the process easier. Happy to do it, Sean. I mentioned that several times. Of course, we have insurance professionals on staff that what they do is they help handle your claim to make that whole process easier for you. So we're glad to do that, man. Thank you very much for the kind words. You can leave us a Google or Facebook review. We'd appreciate that. Glenn Thomasy, good morning. George Reitmeyer. Let's see. Truax, good morning. Jump over here. Trivia Carter, good morning. Pat Huseman, Josh Higginbotham, Cliff Nelson, good morning. Joey Vincent, Jesse Brown, Matt, do you think House will do a good job at LSU? I mean, I do, Jesse. Let's also keep in mind, toward the end of this season, even with the injuries and the opt-outs, right? Elias Ricks, Derek Stingley, Ali Gay, Andre Anthony, Joseph Evans. You all know the Major Burns. You all know the list. Durante still had that defense playing well by the end of the year when Ed Ogeron finally got out of the way. You give them a full deck, a full house. Yeah, I absolutely believe that there's enough talent on that defensive side of the ball that you should never go the way of Bo Pelini. You just have to be lazy and mindless as a coach. And Bo Pelini was. He was collecting retirement. So, same with Linehan the year before, that year. Yeah, I think he'll do fine. When you're motivated and you're a bright defensive guy and you've got coordinator experience, yes. So people ask, and I think that was maybe Ryan over here, said, who has he developed? Well, he worked with Aaron Donald at Pitt. Think about all the guys at Kentucky, Josh Allen. All those edge rushers that Kentucky kept churning out. It's like, how is Kentucky churning out these guys? Those guys. They've had good success there. Mackenzie DeVille, good morning. When does your new podcast start? It's not going to be till after the new year. I'm off this week, so it's not going to be till after the new year till we get that rolling. Nicholas Cantrell, who we betting today. By the way, I do want to talk about that. I don't even know what the bowl schedule is for today. I need to check it out. I would like to say, because there's going to be a lot of hullabaloo about there's a lot of hullabaloo about the SEC starting bowl season 0-4. I would like to say this because I earned the right to say this. It doesn't matter. And here's why I earned the right to say this. Because last year, if you recall, the SEC won a record 10 bowl games. And last year, when the SEC won a record 10 bowl games, I told you, doesn't really matter. Because bowls are glorified exhibitions, and motivation means everything. Who actually wants to be in these games, et cetera, et cetera. And if you compliment your league when they win 10 bowl games, then you have to be equally as upset whenever they lose, say, the first 4 like they have this year. You can't just shrug your shoulders and say, no big deal. You see, whenever they win 10 bowl games, to say, this doesn't really matter, then you have to then you earn the right in turn to say, whenever they're 0-4, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't. Do you think anybody gives a good gosh darn about Mississippi State, Texas Tech, or Missouri, a 500 team in a bowl game, playing the Service Academy? Come on, man. No. Florida with an interim coach and all of their opt-outs, and a quarterback that is already that's announced he's transferring but is going to play in the... Come on. No. Like, the bowl season is what it is. It's a meaningless farce. The players acknowledge it. That's why guys are opting out. It's always been a meaningless farce. It's a cash grab for dudes in ugly blazers. Okay. I love it. It's football. I'll watch football. I'll watch plenty of football. But let's not make it out to be more than what it is. That's the most important thing to remember here. Rap in batches, good morning. Mark Allen, if that interview only lasted 5 minutes, it's still better than we had. James Corwin, good morning. Tim Gotro. Can I find the HUD Code jingle on iTunes? You cannot, Tim, unfortunately. What if Cincy beats Bama? Does that help or hurt the OC hire? It would delay it, but I don't think Cincinnati's beating Alabama. You get a motivated Alabama, motivated Nick Saban, they're going to blow the doors off Cincinnati. Kenneth Martin, good morning. SCC is... There you go. I beat you to the punch, Kenneth Martin. Girlfriend is from Alabama. Every November will be interesting. You should break up with her, Bailey. I'll give you some life advice. Break up with her if she's an Alabama fan and you're an LSU fan. Break up with her and marry an LSU girl. Your life will be happier. I don't really mean that. I mean, kind of, but not really. Mark Allen, my thoughts on the SEC going 0-4. I don't give a poop about other SEC teams. I don't care about bowl games. Joseph Armato, good morning, Matt. Hope you're enjoying your time off. Thank you, Joseph. I am. Lee C, what's up? Ben Giat, in a game like this, being an LSU fan, would you avoid any betting or would you bet the over-under? Are you talking about the LSU Auburn game? If you're talking about the LSU Auburn game, listen, the old betting angle is you bet a streak until it ends because you win as many times as streak continues and you only lose once. And LSU keeps covering. So I'm not betting. I tell you all the time, like, I don't bet LSU. I just don't trust myself with my money to be completely impartial. And so I don't bet LSU games ever in any sport. So I'm not betting this game tonight. I don't bet LSU games. Morning, Brock from Atlanta. What's up, Mountain Dew? Kyle Milliken, who would you rather win the Natty, Bama or Georgia? It's a lesser of two evils. Probably Bama because they've already won a bajillion of them and it doesn't really matter. If it's Georgia, then they get to check that box. At least now you still hold that over their head. Tony, what's up, Tony King? Expecting more from the defense to hop into the portal. Yes, on both sides of the ball, actually. Gulf South, Kelly is obsessed with Kentucky coaches, not going to lie. I feel like Coach O made this hire. The media would be killing him since he's not a splash hire. Yeah, I don't think so, Gulf South. I think, like I said earlier, the big deal is and first of all, most tend to give the benefit of the doubt with any hire. Okay, so you can't say the media and paint with a broad brush. Go back and look at the responses to Durante Jones last year or Jake Peets, and people were giving Ed Orgeron the benefit of the doubt. It was, oh, you're recreating Joe Brady. People were excited about that offensively. You know, Durante, so we'll look at his NFL experience. If you actually go back and look at the responses, the reaction last year, people want to believe that the hire is going to be successful, so they err on the positive. My take a year ago with those were, I hope it works. There's some things that make sense here, but you're taking a giant risk hiring guys that have never done this job before with your job on the line. And I was right. So you can sort of view it down the middle, but I mean, that was not the take a year ago, even after Orgeron had flamed out with Pelini and Linehan the year before. And again, he didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So, like, if Orgeron would have gotten crushed for this hire, it's because he didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. He hired Matt Canada. He hired Jerry Sullivan as passing game coordinator. I mean, you all know the list by now. I mean, Bo Pelini, Scott Linehan, you just go down the list. So, I mean, there's a big difference. You have to reprogram your brain now to understand, like, you're talking about a guy that has 4 decades of success that's earned the benefit of the doubt as a guy that's not. Tomas Pena, some people were concerned with Book's play. I was concerned because he didn't say listen on the postgame. Listen or look. He's got a ways to go. Gosh, dog it. I gotta go, y'all. Not caring is how you become the Pac-10. No. That's not true. No. You have to understand. If you were not caring during the regular season, that would be different. The bowl season is irrelevant. I mean, look at the opt-outs. I mean, that tells you what you need to know. The amount of players choosing not to play in these games tell you what you need to know. Bowl games are all about motivation. Like, do I think Houston is a better program than Auburn? Absolutely not. This game was a much bigger deal for Houston than it was for Auburn. Auburn's a 6-6 football team that's had a bunch of opt-outs, and they're playing in the Birmingham Bowl, and Houston gets a swipe at an SEC school. Of course they're going to be more motivated for that. Okay, y'all. Matt, what are your thoughts on the John Madden news? You know what? 85 years old, dude lived an amazing life. Accomplished so much. Condolences to family, friends, former players, etc. But he's one of the true giants of the game. From a player, coach, and broadcaster, I mean, he contributed in every way you can. So condolences, rest in peace, John Madden. Okay, I hate to do this, y'all, but I gotta go. I mean, I would love to keep rolling. 120 watching there, 156 watching here, but we got a HUDCO meeting and I gotta roll. I'm very sorry to have to cut this short. Listen, we're doing nightcap tonight, so if you're watching right now, however you're watching, tonight, 9 o'clock Central, we'll be right back here for nightcap with Scone. So set your notifications, plan to be here with us, and we'll go deep dive into all this stuff. I'll wait till after the LSU game finishes. It should be right about the game tips at 6, if I'm not mistaken. So, LSU and Auburn's at 6. So as soon as LSU Auburn ends, no, that'll be 8. So 9 o'clock we'll be here. So we'll be done. We'll talk about LSU Auburn. We'll obviously talk about the Matt House stuff. And we'll go deeper dive into all of this. So hopefully you can join us tonight for Nightcap. As always, shout out to Brock and HUDCO. Brock is hiring, brortho.com, brortho.com. And, of course, HUDCOroofing.com. We got materials, we got crews, we are rocking it. This week we have been jamming. I mean, phone lines, online submissions, everything jamming this week. I get it. I think a lot of people are past Christmas and now looking at what they got to do. So if you, a family member, neighbor, friend, needs help with the roof, y'all give us a shout. We're ready to roll. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. We appreciate it. Nightcap right back here tonight. See ya.